Hi, it's Charlene again. I'm going to show you another project with our new mystical winter collection. And to make this card that I'm going to show you, I'm going to cut this last bit of the home pocket because I'm not going to need that. I'm not going to make a pocket because I'm going to make a shaker card. And I only need this piece of my die. What I also need is the window die. With this window die you can make window pages for your journal, but you can also use it to make a shaker card. And I'm going to use it like this. Before I'm going to work on the shaker bit of the card, I'm going to decorate the front. I'm using this stencil of the dots that's in our new stencil pack with 10 different stencils, and I'm going to use this glitter paste with a palette knife, and I'm just taking a little bit of that paste on my palette knife and I'm just going to scrape it through the stencil. And with this dot stencil it almost looks as if you have some glittery snowflakes on there. And since that paste has to dry first, it's now time to work on the shaker piece of the card. So I'm just putting this aside and I'm taking my window die and a piece of plastic, and this is just a plastic pocket that you can use to store things in, and I'm going to use that in between. I always like to use a bit of a sturdy plastic for my shakers, but that's just a personal preference, of course. Now I'm going to glue it in with my double-sided adhesive from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And I'm just going to put it in there like that and then fold it, and now it's stuck in there. Because I like stitching, I used my sewing machine to make a stitched border, but only the double-sided adhesive is enough to make this shaker card where the little shaker pieces won't fall out. With only the top part still open, I can now put my glitters or sequins or whatever you want to put in your shaker. You can throw them in on the top, and then when they are all in there, then of course you glue it, or in my case I just stitch it, and then I can cut off the overhanging piece, and now my shaker is all finished. Most of the time the shaker elements are put on the front of cards, but I thought it was so much fun to put it in the inside, so you have a surprise when you open your card. And now that my glitter on the front is dry, I can attach it in the middle of the card like this. I just used my double-sided adhesive again to glue it in there. And now I have these houses. They are also in the new die sets, and I'm going to use that to make a little village in the inside of my card, and then I have the shaker thingies on the background. And while I'm playing around with these houses, I'm just missing something. And I decided to use a little bit of cork and just to tear that and use that behind the houses, because I thought that way it would look like a mountain. And instead of smoke, there are little hearts coming from this chimney. So these are also in the new die set, and I'm going to glue those on the edge of this card. Before I'm going to finish the inside with some extra snow, I'm going to work on the outside of my card. And to do so, I die cutted the word winter. That's one of the edges that's in our new die sets. And those edges can of course be used on the edges of your pages for your journal, but they are also really cool elements for your journaling page, or for this example for my card. I die cutted it out of our new paper, and now I'm tearing the paper a little bit to get a grungy effect, and here you see the word winter. And underneath that word, I'm going to use burlap road, and I'm just making it a little bit wider and just roughing up the edges a bit. So I think that looks cool underneath my winter word. Just have to cut up off a little bit because it's too big, and then just tearing the outside a little bit more. Now I think it's cool if I put my winter word on top of it like that, just tearing it a little bit so it's on the right size to put on my card. Next to the winter word, I also die cut it two trees from our new collection, and I really like that they aren't that big, but they make really cool elements on your page or card. And I'm just going to stick them in that burlap rope, and now you have a really cool winter scene on the front of your card. And now that I know where I want to put everything, I'm going to glue the word winter onto the burlap rope, and then I'm going to use my sewing machine again and just stitch those two together. And then when that's finished, I'm going to put it back on the card and then place my trees on there, just the way like you saw me doing before. And when the front of my card is ready, I can go ahead and work on the last bit on the inside of the card. And for this, I'm going to use my pen with the glittery snow again, and I'm just putting it on top of the houses and on the bottom of my village. And with this, my completed wintry scene is finished. I really liked making this card, and I just have to think about who I'm going to send it to. I had a lot of fun filming these videos for the show, and I'm super excited that we were able to show you our new mystical winter collection. Thank you for having me, and I hope to see you again another time. Bye bye!